Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian, and welcome back to Phantasmagoria with my two lovely co-hosts. I'm going to do Richard first this time. That came out wrong. I'm sorry, but anyway, that's Richard Cobbett. Hello, sir.
We said we'd keep that private.
Yeah, all right. Very sorry. And I've been practicing just before we recorded. Natalie Juhas.
Yay!
Yes. Head mistress of Reventure Games. That also came out wrong. I'm sorry. Close enough, right? Sure. Jump cut. We're going to get right back into Phantasmagoria. Now, a bit of fair warning when we start this. This episode will start with that scene. If you've ever played Phantasmagoria.
Yeah,
you know
it's a hardcore rap scene. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my name is Don, and I'm here to say, bring me drain cleaner anyway.
Oh, dear God. Yeah.
Getting around in these boxes today.
It's a rap scene, slightly misspelled. I am in control. Speaking of someone who is
so
not
bored.
in control. Oh, yeah.
That won't change. Because today's was 7 a.m., so, you know.
Yeah, that hair
starting
is...
early.
I mean,
Oh, God.
she started brushing her hair at 5:30, and she hasn't stopped yet.
And now
You're
he's
just
helping.
picking the nits out.
You don't have a comb in your hand. Leave me alone.
And also, we are on day 4. Weird shit has been happening for 4 days straight, and at this point, she's just mildly annoyed at, you know, the husband's obvious possession and dismissal. And
He's gonna make it up to her right now.
Don, you bastard, how dare you?
Tickle my ear with your lips.
You misogynistic demon, you.
And also, this is where the sound design really comes in handy because at this point, he's just being really creepy, but the lilting piano music informs us that we are in fact meant to be swayed by this.
Yeah,
This is supposed to feel
This is currently meant to be romantic.
Yeah.
As shown by Adrian's expression as he feels her up.
Yeah.
Being like kind of a half sort of mix of, oh, Don, it's 7 a.m. and nobody told me you would be touching me there.
I gotta say, this does quite match up with the other soft porn that Victoria Morcell was in. I might have watched it.
Really?
It was weird. It was weird. Like she was touching herself while also looking at a medical textbook.
Like you do. I mean, who hasn't done that, to be honest? And I feel it is extraordinarily difficult to say funny things during this scene because it is really, like in the context of the story, really harrowing. But also, and please forgive me for saying this,
nice. Well,
in the context of normal cinematography and what we know of how to evoke emotions in any media, really, it is a really hackneyed, poorly directed, fucking stupid scene.
Yeah.
He doesn't even take his pants off.
I mean, the weirdest thing about this whole scene is trying not to knock down the wall of the studio.
Yes, which is kind of wobbling. Also, it bugs me a lot.
I'm a werewolf!
Phantasmagoria is not the only media guilty of this, but he doesn't actually remove his pants for this. There's like a giant gaping hole at the front of his pants. And also, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure vaginas don't work that way. If you're like leaned up against the wall, either he's got a very strong curvature in his, you know what.
Sorry, Adrian, I forgot to take my pants off.
Yeah. You said it was the dry humping of doom scene, and that is.
Yeah, pretty much.
And look, he doesn't even feel.
Furious dry humping.
I like Adrian's acting in this because that's actually really convincing.
See,
but
that is fine. I think this is a perfectly good piece of acting.
But Don just looks like
even
he's stepped in
that's all right.
something.
It's like, yeah, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and eat an entire raw steak.
Yes. No, you know what?
God,
I'm gonna
he's
go fix my
very
hair.
thin, isn't he?
My
Very
mullet's
thin
getting
in
a little
some
long.
points.
Anyway, I'd better go and get dressed and go and stand around neutrally in my bedroom.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of the Victoria Morcell soft porn, there was another one where it's basically like shaking the baby, as I like to call it, where it's just basically the guy was shaking her. It was fun.
Oh. I've heard
And
a lot
Adrian's
of
thinking about that now.
heard a lot of really great euphemisms about porn. My favorite one is pushing the noodle, where if a guy is visibly unexcited by what's going on, and the director's just saying get on with it, he is pushing the noodle.
Anyway,
that was a detour, wasn't it?
On the plus side, today has to get better.
Yeah. Well, it can't get much worse at this point.
Yeah, let's tell a nice positive story about Victoria Morcell and David Holm now. They got married during this.
No shit.
Yeah.
I thought they got
They
married
were
after
married
this.
for several years after Phantasmagoria.
I thought they started dating during, so then got married, but...
They started getting married, and just after Phantasmagoria finished, they got married.
Really?
They
So they...
didn't last very long. David Holm's a bit of a psychopath.
No, the laugh didn't give it
Libel
away?
alert! Libel alert!
She did mumble
for
it,
a
so it's
time
okay.
Yeah, but for a time, he might actually still be running it. He was running the Phantasmagoria Facebook page. Interesting punctuation. Just gonna say, that's it. Very interesting punctuation.
I mean, I like it when people who've been involved in computer games really own up to the role that they've been playing. I mean, the Robert Hirschberg, the dude who played Stauf in The Seventh Guest and 11th Hour, it's like he's all over that character. He will drip into the Stauf character at any point when prompted. He loves that thing.
I think one of my favourites is the actor who played Gabriel Knight in Gabriel Knight 2, who decided to start writing mystery books.
Not even like self-help books, really.
Oh no, that came later. He
later.
originally did a book like Why the Clown Cried or something like that. No Likes a Dead Clown, something like that.
And he's also owned up to it, although it seems like he can't remember half of the script that was in Gabriel Knight 2. I don't think he ever actually played it.
Well, it was
He
his
probably
second
doesn't
big-
remember. Canis, lupus.
Well, it was his second biggest role after the waiter at the Café Nerveux in Frasier.
Yes.
But you're wrong, Zoltan.
And in an episode called
Adrian
Space
is
Quest.
hearing things.
I don't want him here tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, this is
Adrian, you're hearing things. You need to get out of here.
To be at your party.
this is
Please don't
Where's the
weird.
speakers?
And also,
Believe me,
I mean, just
Zoltan.
if Victoria
I love
Morcell
you.
having to stand
I love
around
you.
and looking very perplexed at this lengthy duologue.
Well, that's interesting.
being
Kind of, this is a very boring haunting. It's like I'm hearing behind the stage of a magic show, which I don't even get to go to.
Yeah, and it's not even.
Wait, am I wearing this again?
Wait, where did the necklace go? I was holding a necklace and it's gone.
It's on the floor, Adrian. Just look down. You're not looking down. No, down, Adrian. And she just sighs like, fuck it.
Yeah. The only
mean,
other
I've-
interesting David Holmes story I've got is that, not that I've read it, but apparently he's published a book of poems that he wrote while being in Phantasmagoria.
Do any of them
Oh,
end
God.
with.
God. Were they
Harry.
things like Ode to a Shitty Director? This is not scary.
Kitchen dishes.
If anyone has that book, please let me know.
Oh, that would be
So
awesome.
just to confirm what's going on, because I know we're sort of talking over most of the dialogue here. This is the homeless people who Adrian found in her barn and has now decided to hire to be the staff of her mansion.
Yes.
That's
Well, see, this is
different
the
from being the
interesting
staff of her mansion, which is a pondering kind of voiceover artist trying to spook all the guests.
When
Yes.
I was in the tower room, I saw a little
But
building
the
that
interesting
was
thing
on
is
the
that
eastern
she
side
never
of the
offered them
island.
that
Do you know
job.
anything
They
about
just
it?
said that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Adrian
I
doesn't
mean,
even have the backbone to say no to hobos.
and she doesn't even offer them a shower or anything. I mean, I don't know what they did to dirty up Harriet's, because with the amount of pixelation on screen right now, I mean, that is not a clear-cut image or anything.
It does look like someone shit on her neck.
Yes, someone has rolled her in pig shit before she got on set, and Adrian is just almost stifling having to hold her nose throughout the entire scene. And she
But
will...
that hat is pristine.
Isn't that Phantasmagoria though? Everyone ends up covered in shit in some way or another.
Pretty much, yeah. Ectoplasm, shit, whatever. And for some reason, Harriet does provide the majority of bodily fluids, or supernatural fluids.
Well, with the
Spoiler.
exception
Yes.
of Don just then.
Well done.
Ah.
Well, that was a very small...
But hey, he kept his pants on. It wasn't going anywhere else.
I do appreciate how every time you look at this thing, the music gets more and more demonic. Sadly, the MIDI music keeps going in the background, so you don't really notice. I didn't notice until, like, at the end.
Hi, David. Coffee for some reason.
Well, because it said trust no one.
Trust no one.
that's his
the
password.
X-Files are here.
Again, I think this is kind of the sort of time for Harry. Could you come upstairs and sort of see the ghost semen baby? I just want to make sure I'm not hallucinating.
Yeah, this weird floaty thing in the nursery. You see that too, really? Because
I keep
Yeah,
putting my hand in it for some reason.
some of the things in this game are really subtle. Like when she moves out of
Oh,
frame, there's
like
a
that,
different
yeah.
pic. I didn't notice that the first time I played at all. I think the only reason I noticed that was because I was...
I just want
Otherwise
to
that
point
scene
out that
happens
there is
for
no
nothing.
way that could reflect that wall.
That's
No, exactly.
also
I mean, that's
true.
literally impossible.
This scene is weird in so many ways. First of all, that dude apparently went on to actually have a mildly successful acting career. I don't remember what his name is or what his acting credits are, but he went on to do things that aren't Sierra FMV games.
I think this is specifically here so that Adrian says it, but also that when something happens later on, that you suspect it's Cyrus.
Yeah, and it obviously isn't. However, I don't think the actor left this on his, acting reel, sending out to casting agents and such.
No, I don't think so. Especially since most of his shots are him going,
and making
Son of Garden Gnome.
a slightly offensive impersonation.
Son of God, gnome.
Also, this scene is weird because he just sort of shuffles off. Hi, you're poking my cat with a stick. It was mewling. It was in obvious pain. And she just goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Nothing," and then wanders off set.
And where the hell? And look, where did he walk to and come back from?
That's also a good question, because you're, as the player, you're just meant to exit the screen and come back, and then he's back, and then you can ask him about, which is what we're doing now. We're asking about the thing across the gorge, or what, for some reason there's a gorge on the property. There's a light. No, a greenhouse.
I can
Come on,
jump
there's
over
a
it because
giant-
I got real big legs.
There's a giant face just around the corner. I think having a gorge on the property is not that big of a deal.
No, but Adrian is really interested in this greenhouse.
If you don't tell me, I'll take away your stump,
Then the
which I
question
could
about
clearly
that
pick
is,
up.
Also,
That's
there's a
fine.
very strange echo outside, but yeah, I was using fast motion through this because the navigation in this game is weird. Where the fuck am I
Meanwhile,
going?
Apparently, you're going into Darkseed.
Yes. But really, I'm just going in fucking circles because no, I'm
I
not.
gotta say, yeah.
It's supposed to go here.
Yeah. The worst one of weird navigation probably was Cluedo Fatal Illusion, which I played recently. Just because to go one way you had to press the arrow going the opposite direction sometimes, and you're just like, what?
And I hate that. I mean, we've already talked about this thing breaking the 180-degree rule. Here, there were two arrows, diagonal arrows going at opposite sides around the tree, but you don't notice that. So I was, as you saw in the fast motion, I was just pissing about in a circle until I found that little hot spot there.
Yeah.
There's
And
more
my
fast
further
motion
question
coming.
is, did there used to be a bridge here? Because there doesn't look any evidence of having a bridge here. I got long legs.
You don't need a bridge.
No, and also it's not a very steep fall. You would be fine if you fell.
Yeah.
A bit wet, but that's it.
But yeah, there's no bridge here. Unless the idea is that part of it's eroded over
Yes.
that time.
I'm not a geologist, but I'm not sure that's how, gorges or crevices form. Like they just sort of drop off in a sheer fashion like that.
I mean, this is really more like they have their own swimming pool.
Kind of, yeah. Also, look at that. Remember that scene in Space Quest 2 when he's, you drop off the edge of the cliff by the mailbox and he won't climb back up because it's too steep? His head just goes above the top of it. Like here, it's the same. You could easily
Goodbye, cruel adventure game. Sorry, Cyrus left the building.
I mean, she might twist an ankle if she fell. If she not. I mean, sorry to be
just get a
harping.
plank. Just put a plank across.
Just that.
There you go.
Or
thing I love about that
climb
is that
down and then
anything
kind of
could've-
climb back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but since they kept the camera on her, anything could have happened to that scene. It could have been like, oh my god, Cyrus, you're dead.
Also, let's tell a lot of dialogue where the characters are not even postage stamp sized. They're very, very tiny. This is amazing directing.
Can I also
Now,
point out
Adrian
that
flirts with him.
I just kind of feel that after this morning she might be a little bit gun shy about hanging around with a huge guy in the middle of nowhere
Who keeps going, I'm
Who's
strong.
been seen molesting her cat.
who wants
mean,
to play
yeah.
with his wood.
Harassing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and also, is bad to animals and clearly a little unhinged in some ways. Oh, and let's just stand here and ponder what just happened for a very long while before making our way across this. And yes, I do believe I turn up the speed in a bit because this scene, this
Yeah.
takes a lot of time. This is times 500 speed, I believe.
And you've got the crystal.
Yay!
The interesting, because I was reading recently about Roberta, about why she had added the rap scene, and but basically, like, she said that she added it because she wanted the game to have depth and to be shocking and provocative, but the rest of the game does not have the backup of that scene to really pay off.
I don't know. I mean, conceptually, it does. Because the whole like horror is obviously like the beaten housewife, like the husband who kind of becomes monstrous. The rape is kind of part of that. The trouble is it's done so badly because Don's hardly in it, and we never sort of see him that much as the loving husband.
It doesn't have that emotional weight.
We never really see him doing anything, and so you almost need that scene just so that Adrian has something like physical to recoil against. Because other than that, it's not really until the last day when he completely loses it that he's that much worse than I have a headache and I'm in a bad mood, and certainly not to like abusive husband level. But then you look at like
except for the computer smashing.
Well, yeah, no, I mean that's all kind of like weird stuff happening around the house. But it was like sort of the same thing when Angel did its episode Billy, I think. Like the guy who kind of brings out misogynistic tendencies and everyone around him, and so it's kind of going for the same thing, but then it's characters we know, and so seeing them behave so out of the ordinary is a thing. Whereas here, like, it just sort of feels like the evil is like the house,
and there's
it's not even the demon and Carno until we kind of get like quite far into the game.
There's another part of it as well. We are actually going to get into an interesting scene here, so I'm going to make it quick. There's another part of it, which is that there are so many other ways that Roberta could have shown the deterioration of his psyche, even though we hardly see him. But to go for a rap scene is one of those tricks you pull out of a hat if you've really got no clue whatsoever.
Right. It's sort of the default.
And now the
shock.
horror of flowers. Sorry.
I'm going to be slightly nice. I do think that for the time, the gore effects were really well done.
They were. It's kind of a shame that the FMV clips, these the full screen video clips, if you want to call them that. These are not the robots over the still images. Someone actually went in and cinematographed this. It's a shame that they're actually playing in 320 by 200 resolution.
I mean, I think it's also a shame that in this one especially, they're trying for the what you don't see is more shocking than what you do, but it doesn't. Again, it's not quite there because whoever's filming it doesn't have like the feel for horror. Like the lighting is wrong. Like the camera's not looking the right way. It's like the idea is horrible, but then the actual execution is sort of. It's more. I get logically why this is unpleasant.
You said as a trowel was shoved into her face.
I mean that scene in particular, like this one in particular, is like they shouldn't do it. Because now we're silly.
Whereas the cackling and the.
Whereas if they cut away before the trowel went in, that would have been more effective than kind of this is clearly a prop.
Yeah.
And likewise, if they kind of sort of cut to the body, like sort of boiling over with all of the sort of stuff, rather all it kind of feels like is Carno's like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, and
oh, that tree is so
no,
not there,
woodpecker.
Adrian.
Let's be fair.
if Carno is Bugs
that tree's
Bunny,
not there.
now we do get some motion control in the camera here, and they were. I mean, if you've seen Pandora Directive, you know that motion control is very tricky to pull off. The Pandora Directive does not do it very well. They actually pull it off pretty well in Phantasmagoria. That's about all.
Do you go back in and find the body?
Yes, of course, because once you've had this horrific scene, incidentally, this is the first time we've seen ghosts. So, from Adrian's point of view, that was terrifying.
Yeah. I actually.
Well, there's something I noticed. Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to go to the Murphy because I think it does speak to one of the reasons I don't think this game works. And I think it doesn't work because Roberta Williams, I don't believe, has any experience of horror.
She's a master storyteller.
But I don't mean personally. I mean, I don't think it's a genre that interests her. And I don't think she's... And I certainly by this point, I don't think she'd seen very much of it. Because a lot of the supposedly horror scenes in Phantasmagoria have a massive disconnect with what it's trying to do. And by far the biggest is they're passive. And so you spend most of the game basically Adrian effectively watching a horror film either on the mirror or kind of in the garden. And it's technically she's watching bad things happen to people, but they have no connection to her. There's no emotional hook. It's just, here's another unpleasant way of killing somebody. And proper horror has to have that setup. It has to have the resonance. Otherwise, it's just like, here's a wacky special effect. Even something like Saw has that resonance. In that, we get to know the characters a bit beforehand. They're, they're based on their fears. Whether it's injections or needles or
but I think
spiky things.
The implication here is that she's watching these horrific murders in ghostly form and thinking, this is what's going to happen to me.
But she never
puts that together.
And even then, she doesn't know these people, who she's sort of watching, any more from just be random victims.
And neither does the player, and this is the big problem. The only reason we are supposed to know these names is because there's a book in the chapel. You can open it and see how many women Carno actually married.
And
but
we've read
kind of
also Luann has the
still,
book.
who cares?
Yeah.
Standing around awkwardly.
Whereas I think if you compare it to, and I'm not even going to say this is a very good game, but if you compare it to The Seventh Guest, we at least get introduced to all of the characters before the bad stuff starts happening. And so when they meet their horrible fates, at least we've had that partial kind of setup. We know why it's ironic.
Look at the cat. The cat.
Adrian, you're suffocating that cat.
Yeah, that cat does not want to be on your lap. I'm just checking all the random shit here, so please do carry on, sir.
I was going to say a bit earlier, when just before Carno stabbed Hortensia with the first wife, was that he went for the ear. The same thing Don did during the rap scene. Seems Carno's got something for ears.
Yeah, or the satanic demon possessing Carno, and spoiler, we knew that.
Or maybe they just both misunderstood the concept of oral sex.
They heard ear-roll sex and just went a little, oh, okay, cool. Incidentally, there's a tarot reading scene here that is entirely optional. You can miss it if you don't give the tarot cards to Hortensia. She's not named Hortensia, she's named Harriet. You don't give them to Harriet either the day before or when she's in the kitchen here. Which means the first, 50 times I played this game, and yes, I have played it a lot. I don't know why. I've never seen this scene. This is the first time, when I recorded this, this was the first time I'd actually seen this scene.
Can I say what would be really funny is if the Don had snuck along here and put some ink on the telescope, and that's his definition of giving her a black eye.
Dear God.
Nice.
Dear God. He's just up.
What happened to the other cards?
Yeah, there were a lot more cards in that deck. It was a huge deck, wasn't it?
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know about tarot reading scenes in interactive entertainment. There's one in Gabriel Knight 2 as well, and it is fucking dull. The sound design does what it can.
There's one that happens a lot in Quest for Glory 4.
But just watching a uninterrupted scene of some person just sitting there going, now this card, because it's a very slow process, tarot reading.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be spooky, but
you've always got that section where you have to explain in great detail that death doesn't actually mean death, which I think is the one thing which everybody now knows about tarot.
Yeah.
Soul is surrounded by all these 7 other energies.
Well, I guess we'll find out. But
Depends
so
upon
Sierra has
what-
Sierra's got an interesting thing with tarot. It seems to think that there's a card that's entirely black that's called the Void card. They use it in Gabriel Knight 2 and in Quest for Glory 4. And
guys, can I just check what's happening on your screen?
Nothing
the tarot reading is ongoing.
happening.
I'm kind of watching the Hortensia murder again.
Hi, we're back. We just had a little sync problem. So,
As did Harriet.
In front of the sink.
yes. Puns, yes. So now we get to experience the rapture, the excitement.
Death.
I didn't know there was this many death cards in a tarot deck.
By the way, you know when they say that the death card actually means change? Nah, death.
Yeah.
Now see, this is the upside down death, which means you will die upside down.
This is the Ace of Wands, which is my personal preferred dildo.
Ooh.
Oh, here's the Fool, here's Death, and here is
rules
a picture
of play, apparently.
and a Joker. How did that get in there?
Sap!
She looks so confused about, like, I don't know what I'm doing with these.
Okay, so you've got Mr. Bun the Baker.
Don't look good.
Yeah. Why does she know tarot cards? I mean, I know she's supposed to be mystic. She's carny folk, really, but why is she living in your barn? Why is she
Then
wearing
why
a
is she
gnome
wearing
hat?
that hat?
Hat,
Why
yes.
does the hat stand up like that?
I have a lot of
What's
questions
she
about
got in
Harriet.
there?
Come on,
She's
Harriet.
got dead mice in her hat. I'm absolutely sure of it. Those are not dirt stains. They're blood stains.
All right.
Well, this is the thing. Like, you know, everything on her looks like crap. It looks like she's rolled in
This
mud.
card in
Someone
the
shat
middle.
on her neck. That hat is pristine.
That's you.
She's
There
got
is
a nice
nothing wrong with that hat.
I
nice
can
80s
lend you, I
tracksuit.
can lend you an orange sweater if you
All
want.
these 7 other
Oh,
energies.
God, that would be horrifying.
Also, she's tiny. Her feet are just like dangling off that huge chair.
That's the lovers.
Oh, the
Oh, the
lovers.
lovers.
Now that card is meant to be taken literal. Death, however, not so much.
Now, the lovers inverted means they're very kinky.
Normally that ain't necessarily so bad, but
They really like
these
rap
other
music.
cards surrounding it.
Oh, sorry, I read the cards wrong. Oh.
Oh.
This is this is an oddly specific one. The demon of the basement.
Just
Yes, this is the your head will get torn to pieces if you don't click on the exit fast enough card. That's a weird card. That never shows up.
knave of get the fuck out of here. I haven't seen that one in ages.
rational solution.
And then Sierra's favorite card, the Void card, which doesn't...
Oh yeah, you're talking about the void card. What is the void card?
Yeah, so Sierra created their own tarot card that they used in Gabriel Knight 2 and in Quest for Glory
Sounds
4,
like I'm
which was
heading
just
off to
basically,
battle.
this is so dark and terrible, we're going to stop talking about it immediately. And end tarot scene.
Does it actually? Does she refer to it as the void card here? What does that etymology come from?
I don't know if she's... I can't remember if it's here. I think that's always... I've expected it to be here because it's around the same time as Gabriel Knight 2 and Quest for Glory 4.
I think
And
every
they
time.
both have it as well.
Every time I see a tarot card reading scene in anything, I'm gonna think of the void card from now on.
Yeah. It's just like, do you have the Void card? What does it look like? It's just black.
It's the one underneath the shitty magician.
Oh look, the fools, the hanged man, the possessed husband. This tarot card is really specific.
I gotta say, this scene would be a lot better if you could actually see the cards she was talking about.
Yes.
Or if it was interactive, so you actually picked them. But of course,
Yeah.
that would involve programming, and that's a bit beyond like the average FMV game.
That would suck. And I love every scene that has tarot card reading in it. The person who's having her tarot cards read invariably goes, "So what does it all mean?" And the other person goes, "And Harry just did that. Well, it is up to interpretation. So sod it. What the hell were we doing all this time?"
I actually always have maintained that the sight of tarot cards in a game is a bad thing. And it's not the tarot themselves, which obviously is a French children's game, has no magic whatsoever. But it's the fact that it's such a shorthand for mystical shit.
Yes.
So when I sort of see like a game trailer that's like tarot cards floating around, like, we have no ideas!
Yeah. The same
We're
with the
just
Ouija
leeching
boards.
off this imagery!
Oh, thanks, Jerry.
Everything
That was very
that
interesting.
Fisher Price ever put out. Fisher Price, whatever. Parker Brothers or whatever. The Ouija
I
board.
remember Fisher
the
Price Tarot,
cards.
that would be quite awesome.
That would be great.
My first Ouija board.
The speak and spell tarot cards. This is death.
Speak and spell. Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Wow, this toy. We're gonna take this back, Junior.
The cow goes moo. The sacrificial lamb goes.
The possessed
But if they
husband
ask
goes.
for a goat without horns, where will we find one?
Oh god.
The possessed husband wants dipping sauce.
And drain cleaner.
And drain cleaner.
Absolutely. And just for
Meanwhile, in
Richard's,
another horrifying scene,
yes, just for
Who are
Richard's
you
sake.
again?
I hate to bother you.
May I help you?
Yes.
Yes. Have we
I'd
met?
like to buy that couch in the corner.
That is an awesome
You
couch.
have
That is a
met.
huge couch.
Place. How do you like living there?
You have met. You have met.
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, you're living at the Carno estate. Oh, I thought you said the Ketchup estate. Oh, I have such terrible hearing.
Why do you say that?
Gosh, she looks so much like a Barbie doll right now.
Technically, doesn't Carnavash translate to meat cow?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Two different languages, sure, but
Delicious.
yeah. Is Carno French for meat as well?
Well, like I was still yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but Carno vache. I mean, vache in French is cow, and Carno in
Most Latin
Italian
is
at
really
least.
meat, isn't it?
In Spanish is meat. So yeah,
So really, it's just the carvery.
he's a meat cow.
Can we get Yorkshire puddings there, though?
Anybody ever been hurt?
Special meat and potato
Or
pie.
get killed there?
I don't remember any
Has anybody been hurt or killed? Well,
Someone a long time ago, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I did see a ghostly image, but you wouldn't be interested in that.
I mean, again, going back to the whole, why this horror doesn't work. Why didn't she find Hortensia's body?
She did.
No,
No
I,
one found Hood. Yeah.
no. What I mean is rather than like having like the flashback, I know she picks up the trowel and then that kicks off like the fantastical sort of sequence. But why could she like sort of dug it up and have like kind of sort of wormy corpse with the trowel sort of still
Yeah.
sticking out? So that
Instead
at
of being
least-
impressed by Carno sticking her into a giant pot.
Yeah, I mean, so at least then she's kind of got this sort of personal connection with the corpse, even if she doesn't have it with Hortensia's story.
Well, maybe you were out of sync when it happened, but we did sort of knock the pot over and...
That's
Oh,
Harriet.
hi. We're having a
Don't
pleasant
around our house,
conversation.
so you
You
had better.
piece of shit.
She
I've
smells
got-
like poop.
I've got to admit, in this sense, I am actually on Don's side.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the crazy gnome lady kind of living in my house, and certainly not going through all of my drawers and things.
Probably could have phrased it a little more calmly.
Nicer.
Yeah, nicer.
And now let's do some DIY.
No, like I said, I know you can find some of the stuff later on, but what I mean is you don't find it before you find Hortensia's body. So it's like, here's the flashback, and you need that kind of connection.
Yeah, that is true. And none of the other wives... I mean, Hortensia is actually the closest person you get to having a physical connection with, because you pick up a piece of cloth off of her strangely mummified corpse, actually. I don't know how that
Well,
works.
the others you basically watch on TV. It's just the
Yes.
TV is the mirror,
Yes.
and
What?
that is the worst decision of the game as far as I'm concerned.
You know, I was just trying to think about why Hortensia might be mummified, but maybe it's because she's in the hothouse, so it's just dried her out with the sun, because with the pot being open at the top,
Yeah.
it would have just dried her out from above.
But didn't this happen like decades ago?
Yeah, see, my problem with it is that...
the body will be gone by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even so, like, with the selling of this house, one, who is selling the house? No one owns the house anymore. And two,
Cigar
no one seemed to
realtor.
do a... Yeah, but no one did a property inspection of it either.
Not in the
Like-
slightest.
No.
There are
Does
death
the
traps.
house have rising damp?
Yeah. There's a fucking boat you can fall off and kill yourself in. There's a gorge inexplicably outside of the property. And,
And the phone is so broken.
yeah. Oh my god.
That guy's there for days.
This is meaningful, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I could sell this.
Yes, you can. Which is
Has
also
somebody
optional.
drawn a penis on that manila folder?
We might have to go back and freeze frame that.
No, I think it's a necklace, but the way it is laid, however, could be.
Did we?
Scene.
Oh, I think now is
No
some more expositionary voiceover while Adrian sits there and looks bemused for a good 4 or 5 minutes.
That's also
Dear-
a
dear
really weird
Carno.
rocking horse in the back.
Dear Carno, as I've told you many times,
Dear
do not
Diary.
touch my chest.
I'd like to point something out about the rocking horse in the back there. It has a shrunken head.
It does. It's a weirdly buff pony.
It's a buff pony with a very tiny head.
Yes.
Baby life.
Also, why are the wives just leaving their innermost feelings about how awful their husband is just lying in the top of drawers, in the chests, and why are they even writing
I
this
mean-
down? The man is fucking insane.
I mean, at least this one kind of makes sense, because this is all the stuff he doesn't want the other wives to see, so he's like, I've just packed all this shit away.
Yeah.
I would still burn this. I'm just...
Yeah, I wouldn't keep it around for it. Also, this is a letter to someone, isn't it?
Last year he changed.
No, this is a diary.
This is a diary. All right, because there's a letter at some point that's just...
This
Oh,
one,
oh,
yeah.
that's the one in the... What's her name, by
Yeah,
the way?
that's Marie.
Marie.
Marie seems to have a copy of all her letters,
Yeah.
for some reason.
Why?
Spend most of my time
Why would
Yeah.
you want to infuriate someone
what's
who's
it called?
already insane?
far away
Or, you know,
Kind of,
just
or, like,
leave.
well, you know, the original, like, I'll call him Zoltan to separate him from the demon, but Zoltan also has a copy of letters he's written out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a flaw with this game as well. They're not letters that people have sent to them, like, going like, oh, you were asking about this, and I found it and I'm sending it to you. It was like, I would like this. Can you get this for me?
That's true.
Well,
in the study, you
turns
pick
out
up the letter that just goes, I would like to purchase your satanic book. It's like, did you actually send this letter? Why did he bring the letter
it just
back?
turns out that Carno was allergic to the glue on stamps.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. So this was actually what
and
he...
it came back with it,
That's
like,
actually
it was just inside the cover.
Well, no, that's actually what the giant ectoplasm baby is. So he just kind of goes up and then kind of rubs it on it, and then he kind of put it on the envelope.
Now, instead of being electrified, this one just makes a noise. It is by far the most horrifying apparatus in the entire game. Yes, I am counting the swingy blade thing.
Well, the swingy blade's not a big deal, because that's like one and done.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it's fun.
Of all of them, I would rather be killed by the swingy blade than, you know, the force feeding machine.
Yeah, that one. Oh, the force feeding machine is bad. This one I think is the most awful one because, as we will see in the next episode, it's got a twisty-turny heady thing.
That would be bad.
I don't like the twisty-turny heady thing.
It's one of those things where, what is the purpose of that otherwise? Like, you know, based on the way it's set up, it doesn't look like it's hiding anything. Like, so it's not like, you know, you can do the illusion of the body stays the same place, but the head moves.
That's kind of it. I mean, these are just straight up torture devices. They are.
Yeah.
And again, it's a problem I have with this game that they're not magic tricks.
No, they are escape artist tricks, but I'm not sure how escaping from having your head slowly turned to one side is really much of a trick.
Even then, the rules of magic are these escape tricks, the ones the magician does. You have the box jumpers to kind of do the, you know, the sword and half stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we are coming up on the end of this episode, sadly. I mean, what a caper. And this is
sponsored by US Sprint.
yes.
And back pockets to jackets.
And Don is out of the dark room for some reason.
I never want to make phone calls.
No. Well, that was a trip and a half, wasn't it? So next time we promise interesting stuff. We've had a little taste of interesting stuff. There has been
and dirt.
Yes, we have had dirt shoveled in mouth.
Hortensia literally eating dirt.
Yes.
Delicious.
And then getting suspiciously mummified. Next episode is...
On the plus side, at least she also got to push up some daisies.
Oh, bravo, sir.
Golf clap. Died.
Golf clap. But next episode is chock full of scary, ghouly things, because we wake up at the crack of, let's say, late
dawn.
Evening.
The crack of dawn. Oh, no.
At least we didn't get to see that.
No one wants to wake up there.
No.
No.
Shit's gonna happen in the next episode. I'm just saying that. So please check in next week. Until then, please like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do, but do leave us a comment because we truly do love the comments. I don't know. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. Anyway.
Except yours.
Yeah. #second language. Anyway,
you shut up.
I'll see you all around the corner.